Dumelang Sanbanani and welcome to Africa Tonight, the show that takes you across the continent, covering significant developments as they unfold. We bring you conversations about the stories affecting the people of Africa. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Leseho Mokwanane. Let's take a look at news making headlines across the continent. Zimbabwe police say they have arrested 2 suspects over the grenade blast at an election rally that killed 2 people and narrowly missed President Emmerson Mnangagwa. Algeria showcases migrant expulsion in face of criticism. French President Emmanuel Macron arrives in Lagos and visits the Shrine Afrobeat legend Fela Kuti's music venue to celebrate Nigerian and African culture. In your top story, 3 shipwrecks and nearly 180 dead or missing in 5 days in the Mediterranean. The pace of departure of migrants, mostly African, from Libya has accelerated after a European agreement to deter such crossings. At least 7 people, including 2 children, were killed and 123 others were rescued after their boat sank near the Libyan coast. Kidnappings and murder have forced the famed Virunga, a wildlife park in the Democratic Republic of Congo, to close for visitors until 2019. Africa's oldest national park, famed for its population of mountain gorillas, has been plagued by the wave of violence that has been racking eastern DR Congo for years. Park Director Manuel de Merode stated that it is clear that the Virunga region is deeply affected by insecurity and that this will be the case for a certain time. Illegal migrants from Niger travel on expulsion buses to a transit camp in Tamanrasset prior to being deported back to Niger. Accused of dumping thousands of migrants at the border in the desert, Algeria has opened up the doors of its air-conditioned expulsion buses to try to allay criticism of its treatment of deportees. With food-filled rest stops and nappies for the babies, the journey south for more than 350 migrants being sent out of Algeria stood in stark contrast to the reports of those who have come before them. Rights groups have accused the Algerian authorities of arbitrarily arresting and deporting migrants from sub-Saharan Africa, sometimes abandoning them without water or food in the desert. King Goodwill Zwelithini has called on the Zulu nation to stand up and defend the Zulu communal land. The king addressed hundreds of Zulu people who gathered in Ulundi to hear his address on land. The Zulu monarch urged the gathering to stand together against those who were trying to take land from him. He said they should be ready to protect and defend their land. The king further took a swipe at political parties in parliament, saying they continue to disrespect him even in his absence. He urged the people to stop being used by political parties for their votes. And earlier, the KwaZulu-Natal Amakhosi and civil society reiterated their support for the Ingonyama Trust. The imbizo was triggered by the high-level panel report, which recommends that land under the Ingonyama Trust be transferred to the state. The Amakhosi wants King Zwelithini to continue administering the trust.
Silapha nje singamakhosi sithi sizokhuza nathi singamakhosi asogwini sizobabaza ukuthi konje ngabe sekwenze njani akakhathalwa yini umhlaba seloko kokhokho baba khona baphela ngenxa lomhlaba sibona sibangaka nje lapha amaZulu aphela ngenxa lezwe leli kanti sekuyoze siphele wonke umuntu ngalomhlaba bakwethu.
Ngiyaqinisekisa ukuthi njengoba ngimile ehlanga lomhlabathi phakathi kwabantu bakho sikusho ukugcwala umlomo siubuholi basemkhanya kude ukuthi umhlaba ulungile nje usezandleni zamakhosi angaphansi kwakho kuwona kubhekela umhlaba wena bese uthi ngonyama kube wena ongaphezulu kwakho konke asiliboni iphutha uma ngabe kuukuthi intaba zakho ngonyama lezi ezincane esezasala zibe sesandleni sikaZulu uZulu oholwa ke ingonyama ekhona phakathi kwethu.
We're very concerned about the latest step. But of course this thing has been coming for a long time. We must look actually beyond ex-President Motlanthe, because even at some of the conferences of the ruling party, the African National Congress, there was actually one resolution where it was stated that the KwaZulu-Natal ANC wanted this act scrapped. So I think that we should look at this matter also because there was also a suggestion that in any case all communal land should be democratized, should be taken away and democratized, and all that emanated from government.
Others called for the name change of the province from KwaZulu-Natal to just KwaZulu.
Siyacela ukuthi KwaZulu-Natal okokuqala hlanga lomhlabathi bekubalekile ukuthi sibuyele emuva ekuthenini sikephi lapho sikhona. Le ndawo esikuyo akusikona KwaZulu-Natal, uNatal kasimazi. Hlanga lomhlabathi bekungasithokozisa thina njenge-RET champion senza lesiphakamiso ukuthi aliqanjwe kabusha izwe lakithi kwazeke ukuthi kuKwaZulu lapha.
French President Emmanuel Macron arrived in Lagos on Tuesday evening to the Shrine Afrobeat legend Fela Kuti's music venue to celebrate Nigerian and African culture. Macron went directly to the shrine from Nigeria's capital of Abuja, where he met with President Muhammadu Buhari on the second day of his visit to West Africa after Mauritania on Monday. The French president added that he was happy to return to Nigeria, where he had done an internship at the French embassy in 2002 and had visited the shrine.
We decided to organize everywhere in France for 2020 a series of events about African culture. But the new thing is that it will be for Africa, for African artists, by African artists, and with African leaders, business community, influencers, and African people. This cultural season is a unique and brand new event because it will be the face of African culture in Europe, but organized by Africa, with Africa, providing what you like, what you love here. European leaders are not here to lecture African leaders. African leaders are here to take care of their people. And none of us are here to leave the young generation to believe one second, that their future is outside Africa. They have to build their future here in Africa, and we have to help them.
Zimbabwe's military vowed to stay neutral in the upcoming elections, dismissing suggestions it would deploy service personnel to influence national polls scheduled for July 30th. The military is under close scrutiny following its brief takeover in November that led to the resignation of former President Robert Mugabe. Previous elections under Mugabe were marred by violence, intimidation and fraud, often alleged to involve the security forces. Army spokesman Overson Mugwise at a media conference in Harare stated that the Zimbabwe Defense Forces has no direct role in the upcoming elections. He also added that they are disturbed by false reports alleging that the Zimbabwe Defense Forces is going to be used by the ruling ZANU-PF to rig the posted vote.
Our role in the elections is mainly to support the Zimbabwe Republic Police in their role of maintenance of law and order in the country before, during, and after the harmonized election. I want to raise concern over some individuals who mischievously and deliberately portray the execution of our mandate as participating in political campaigns. Falsehoods that have been reported include allegations of the ZDF deployments in rural areas to intimidate villagers so that they support a certain political party to enhance that party's chances of winning in the 2018 harmonized elections.
Zimbabwe police stated on Tuesday that they had arrested 2 suspects over the grenade blast at an election rally that killed 2 people and narrowly missed President Emmerson Mnangagwa. Police Chief Godwin Matanga says investigations are continuing over the explosion in the country's second largest city of Bulawayo on the 23rd of June. He also added that he would like to applaud the level of cooperation and support that the joint investigation team has so far received. Last week, 2 suspects who were in police custody on alleged terrorism and banditry charges failed to appear in court and were reportedly later released without charge. Mnangagwa, who took power from veteran leader Robert Mugabe after a brief military takeover, has accused aggrieved supporters of Mugabe's wife, Grace, of being behind the attack.
Sadly, our spirits have been darkened by the nefarious and horrendous act that took place barely a fortnight ago, which, from the look of things, was apparently an attempted assassination of His Excellency the President, Comrade Idi Mnangagwa, and the other dignitaries. I would like to applaud the level of cooperation and support that the joint investigation team has so far received, culminating in 2 suspects being accounted for. To the perpetrators of this callous act, I say, be warned that we will certainly sniff you out from wherever you are hiding, and you shall face the full wrath of the law. To the rest of the public, I want to say that as I speak, we have already taken steps to heighten the level of our vigilance as law enforcement agents to ensure your safety and security. We heartily applaud the government stance on zero tolerance to political violence and tirelessly preaching the need for the country to hold free, fair, credible and transparent elections.
Joining us over the phone line is Kennedy Mandaza, ZANU-PF SA spokesperson. A very warm welcome to you and thank you so much for your time. What more details can you share with us around the 2 suspects that have been arrested?
Good evening to your viewers. There is nothing much that we say in regards to the 2 suspects that are alleged or that have been apprehended by the police, because we rely solely on the information that we are getting from the police. And like they indicated from the start that once the investigations are done and whatever their findings are, they will then put that into the public domain. And what they put in the public domain in the press statements that they released is all what we know at the moment. And as a party, we fully support the investigations that are currently going on so that they can dispel the myths and the other allegations that have been coming out surrounding the event that took place at the White City Stadium.
Now, according to reports, it seems as though the grenade was thrown by someone who has military experience. With what we know so far, could this be true?
Those are some of the speculations that are being done, among many others that have been cited surrounding the event that took place. I think the most important thing that we need all to do is to listen to what will come out from the investigations that are currently going on. Because any other speculations that we may come up with may be misleading to the people and might hype the tempers in Zimbabwe as we go towards the elections. What we need to continue to do, and which is what the president and the vice president and many other Zimbabweans have called all individuals to do, is to follow what those that have been tasked with to do the investigations to do their investigations, and whatever their findings, they would let the nation know. Any other things that come out of now from various quarters, they are mere speculations, and they should not be taken seriously.
At this point, we know that the names have not been released or revealed. Do we have details to that, and details of which party they belong to?
Like I've already indicated, the information that was released, which is in the public domain, is that there are 2 suspects that have been apprehended. And these are assisting with the investigations that are currently taking place. And as and when that information becomes necessary, would want to believe that the security or the police would let us know.
And at this point, do we know when they will be expected to appear in court, and what charges will they be facing?
Not at the moment. We still rely on what came out of the press statement. And as soon as that becomes in the public domain, we will definitely be also knowing what exactly the charges are that have been preferred on them, and when they will be going to court. But ordinarily, there are rules and regulations that are supposed to be followed when people have been apprehended, and we believe that the police force would adhere to that.
Now, we know that last week 2 suspects who were in police custody on alleged terrorism and banditry charges failed to appear in court and were reportedly later released without charge. Do you have any new details around that?
I do not have any new details surrounding that. This is an ongoing investigation. And as and when it becomes necessary to interrogate people to get information, I think people will be called to the police stations or will be interrogated by the police. It could be one such incident where these 2 people could have been taken by the police for interrogation or to get further clarity on what could have transpired. But since they are suspects, they remain suspects until they've been proven guilty. So, as I've already indicated, it's an ongoing process where the police are investigating, and they've said that it will be thorough, and they will get to the bottom of exactly who is behind it and what the motive was.
And now, among those who were injured in the attack at the ZANU-PF rally was one of Zimbabwe's vice presidents, Kimbo Mohadi, and Minister of Environment, Water and Climate, Opa Muchunguri. We know that they are seeking treatment in South Africa. Have they been discharged and back in Zimbabwe as yet?
The latest information that we got is that they are recovering, and they will be back to their normal duties as soon as they have been declared fit by the doctors that are attending to them. But what we can safely say is that at the moment, the process that the medication or medical assistance that they have been receiving is assured the party that they are recovering and will be back to their normal business soon.
And any word on how far talks are on strengthening security measures, especially around VIP areas?
The vice president, including the vice president last week, including the spokesman of the president, indicated that they will tighten the security of 4 presidential candidates, and if they feel threatened. And this is what is going to be taking place as from now, to make sure that if there are any threats or if people that are in campaigning feel intimidated or they are afraid of anything, they will receive such security, which will make sure that the fear that they might be having is removed. And that is what is also going to be happening on any other individual that is participating in this particular election.
All right, thank you so much for all those details. That was Kennedy Mandaza, ZANU-PF spokesperson, just giving us more details as Zimbabwe police have arrested 2 suspects over the grenade blast at an election rally that killed 2 people and narrowly missed President Emmerson Mnangagwa. Police Chief Godwin Matanga says the investigations are continuing over the explosion in the country's second largest city of Bulawayo, which took place on the 23rd of June. He also added that he would like to applaud the level of cooperation and support that the joint investigation team has so far received. And we know that last week 2 suspects who were in police custody on alleged terrorism and banditry charges failed to appear in court and were reportedly later released without charge. Mnangagwa, who took power from veteran leader Robert Mugabe after a brief military takeover, has accused aggrieved supporters of Mugabe's wife, Grace, of being behind the attack. And now coming back home, the Department of International Relations and Cooperation has confirmed that Zimbabwe is going to elections at the end of the month as planned. This follows an alleged assassination attack on President Emmerson Mnangagwa, who narrowly missed a bomb blast as he left the podium after addressing the rally last month. Updating the media on international affairs, Minister Lindiwe Sisulu hailed the countries whose election plans were still on track despite some experiencing glitches along the way. She says South Africa will continue monitoring progress in those countries.
We were also discussing the matter of Zimbabwe, and it was the day before the fateful event in Zimbabwe. And we were assured by the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Zimbabwe that Zimbabwe was on track, and everybody was quite satisfied about the progress that was being made in Zimbabwe towards election. So Zimbabwe is going to election at the end of the month, and we confirmed that. And for us, a measurement of the sustenance of development is the regularity by which countries go to elections. So we applauded those countries that had kept their promise to go to elections, and we monitor our progress in that regard.
Zulu further announced that a statue of Nelson Mandela will be unveiled at the United Nations Security Council in September. They said that the statue is dedicated to Mandela's legacy and his commitment to international peace.
We are preparing in August during the United Nations General Assembly to dedicate one day to remembering Mandela. And at that point, we will be unveiling the statue of Mandela, which will be placed there. It is a great honor for us to be able to place Mandela right at the center of the United Nations. Just as you walk into the United Nations building, the first thing that you will see after we've been there and placed him there will be Mandela, and we will make sure he's cast in concrete and he's placed on concrete. Nobody can remove him, and that bears testimony to what we have given the world, what he has given the world, and the hope that he carries around him.
About 2,000 police officers stationed in Boko Haram hit northeast Nigeria demands months of back pay in an angry protest marked by tear gas and gunshots fired into the air. Members of the mobile police units who perform escort duties as well as man checkpoints and patrol with the military demanded up to 6 months arrears and better accommodation. They blocked the main road outside the police headquarters in the Borno state capital, Maiduguri, chanting slogans including "Pay us our allowances or there will be no peace." Protesters let off tear gas and fired volleys of gunshots into the air. Cameroon has accused Amnesty International of disseminating crude lies after it stated that security forces had committed summary killings, arrests and property destruction to try to crush a separatist insurgency. Communications Minister Issa Chiroma Bakare stated that the report is stuffed with crude lies, hasty deductions, unacceptable maneuvering, which are part of a strategy of harassment and destabilization of our country in its its fight against the terrorist threat. The government rejects this supposed report with the greatest firmness, he added in a statement. In a 37-page report, Amnesty stated that it had catalogued unlawful killings, destruction of private property, arbitrary arrests and torture by the security forces in two restive regions of the West African country. The unrest is unfolding in the northwest and southwest regions, home to most of Cameroon's English-speaking minority, which account for about a fifth of a population of 22 million.
Nous pensons que ceci va, n'est-ce pas, comment dirais-je, essayer de motiver davantage nos frères qui ont quitté le Cameroun, qui sont de l'autre côté, et même ceux qui sont là et qui sont en train de souffrir, que le Cameroun se bat, c'est tous les Camerounais qui se sentent concernés pour ce problème du nord et du sud-ouest.
La collecte des fonds ne sera jamais une solution indiquée. Je crois que les autorités savent où se trouve le problème et les Camerounais en ont tellement proposé des solutions qu'ils savent exactement ce qu'il faut faire. Nous pensons tous que, et nous en interne comme dans la communauté internationale, que seul le dialogue serait la voie de recours.
Le fonds qu'on continue cela, ça ne peut même pas arriver, comme ça peut arriver. C'est pour payer quoi? Pour avoir l'enfant à l'école? Non. Tous ces gens-là, comme le dialogue, parce que les familles sont en brousse. On va aller embrouler de l'argent ou la nourriture? Non, ça ne peut pas se faire. Il faut le dialogue.
That's all we have time for here on Africa Tonight. From Milese Khomokonani and the rest of the Africa team. Salani.